Majority of cruisers assume cruise ship buffets are safe by default. That assumption quietly ruins a lot of vacations due to sickness, and when passengers get sick, it's rarely because the food was bad. But it's small buffet mistakes most passengers don't even realize. You don't notice it on day 1. You feel it by day 3, when nausea hits, appetite disappears, and your cabin becomes the only place you want to be. In this video, I'm breaking down the most common cruise buffet mistakes that can make you sick. Not rumors, not scare stories, but real operational risks I've seen on board. More importantly, I'll show you how to avoid them. Let's start with the biggest issue most passengers completely underestimate. Number 1. Eating buffet food late. Food safety risk increases sharply toward the end of buffet service, even on well-managed cruise ships. As service hours wind down, dishes have been sitting out longer, temperatures begin drifting outside ideal ranges, and refresh cycles slow. What looked safe an hour earlier may no longer be within proper holding standards. Late service also coincides with staffing transitions. Kitchen teams begin shifting from replenishment to cleanup, and fewer eyes are monitoring individual trays. That doesn't mean rules are ignored, it means response time changes. A tray that should be replaced immediately may sit several extra minutes before action is taken. Passengers often assume late equals quieter and safer. In reality, late service is when food has experienced the most exposure: air, utensils, and repeated contact. Hot food's cool, cold food's warm. Both enter higher risk temperature zones. This mistake affects passengers who linger, arrive late from shows, or deliberately avoid crowds. The safer strategy is simple: eat earlier in the service window, when turnover is highest and monitoring is most active. Number 2. Overloading plates and letting food sit too long. Large buffet plates feel efficient, but they quietly increase risk. When food leaves controlled buffet temperatures and sits on a plate while passengers search for seating, talk, or move around, it enters unsafe temperature zones. Hot food's cool, cold food's warm. That transition allows bacteria to multiply, especially with proteins, rice, and starches. The food may have been safe on the buffet line, but becomes risky before it's eaten. This is especially common during busy periods when seating is scarce. Passengers pile food high, then spend several minutes navigating crowded dining rooms. By the time they sit, food safety margins have already narrowed. Crew cannot control what happens once food leaves the station. Smaller portions, eaten promptly, are consistently safer. Returning for seconds is not wasteful, it's smarter. Number 3. Eating cream-based desserts. Cream-based desserts carry higher risk than most passengers realize, especially late in buffet service. Items like custards, mousse, whipped toppings, and cream-filled pastries are extremely sensitive to temperature changes and handling. As service progresses, these desserts experience gradual warming, repeated exposure to air, and frequent utensil contact. Even small temperature shifts can accelerate bacterial growth, particularly in dairy-based components. Late in service, refresh frequency drops. Desserts that were rotated aggressively earlier may remain out longer as staff transition toward closing procedures. Visually, they may still look appealing, but internal safety margins are narrower. These desserts are also more likely to be adjusted by hand. Passengers often touch toppings, separate portions, or examine texture, multiplying contamination risk. This doesn't mean avoiding desserts entirely. It means timing matters. Enjoy cream-based items earlier in service, when turnover is highest and monitoring is most active. Late in the window, choosing baked or dry desserts significantly reduces exposure risk. Number 4. Ignoring quiet crew behavior changes. Crew behavior often signals developing health concerns before passengers are informed. When staff suddenly switch from self-serve to assisted service, close stations early, or increase visible cleaning, it's rarely random. These changes are usually precautionary. Crew track patterns internally: unusual utensil contamination, increased cleaning frequency, or early reports of stomach issues. Operational adjustments are made quietly to limit spread before escalation. Passengers often misinterpret these signals as convenience or efficiency changes. In reality, they're early containment measures. This is especially important on longer sailings. where even minor illness trends matter. By the time announcements are made, precautions have already been in place. The safest response is behavioral awareness. If you notice staff serving instead of allowing self-service, shortening buffet hours, or intensifying sanitation, adjust your habits. Eat smaller portions, choose fresher items, or consider alternative dining for that meal. Crew behavior changes are not inconveniences, they're warnings. Number 5. Buffet dining while dehydrated, overtired, or drinking heavily. Physical condition matters more than most passengers realize. Dehydration, fatigue, and alcohol consumption weaken digestion and immune response. Under these conditions, mild contamination that might otherwise pass unnoticed can trigger full illness. Port days, excursions, and late nights create the perfect storm. Tired bodies, lowered resistance, and immediate buffet exposure. Many post-cruise illnesses aren't caused by high exposure, but by low resilience. Crew observe this pattern consistently. Illness reports spike after heavy drinking nights and long excursion days. Staying hydrated, resting before meals, and moderating alcohol intake dramatically lowers risk. Buffet safety isn't only about food. It's about how prepared your body is to handle exposure. Number 6. Rushing to the buffet immediately after port days. Port days create the highest risk buffet environment of the entire cruise. Passengers return from crowded terminals, buses, markets, and public restrooms, often dehydrated, tired, and hungry. Thousands arrive back on board within a short time window, all heading straight to food. That surge overwhelms even well-designed buffet layouts. Utensils cycle faster. Tables turn quicker. Staff focus on volume rather than observation. Meanwhile, passengers bring onboard pathogens picked up ashore. The first evening buffet after port return consistently ranks as one of the highest risk dining periods. Crew know this, which is why cleaning intensifies and service patterns may change subtly. The mistake passengers make is assuming the ship resets risk once they're back on board. It doesn't. Port exposure follows you into the dining room. Giving the buffet time to stabilize, even an hour, significantly reduces risk. Number 7. Using self-serve children's buffet sections. Children's buffet sections experience significantly higher hand contact than standard buffet areas. Plates are reused, utensils are dropped and returned, and food is frequently touched directly. These behaviors increase as the day goes on. Late in the day, the risk compounds. Children are tired, parents are distracted, and supervision drops. Utensils are more likely to be mishandled, and food sits out longer between refreshes. From an operational standpoint, these sections are cleaned frequently, but they are also used heavily. Even with good sanitation, volume and behavior create higher exposure risk compared to adult-focused stations. Parents often assume kids' sections are safer because they're designed for children. In reality, they require more caution, not less, especially during peak family dining hours. This doesn't mean avoiding them entirely. It means timing matters. Earlier use, when turnover is high and staff attention is strongest, significantly lowers risk. Late-day use increases exposure for both children and adults. Number 8. Touching food directly. One of the most overlooked buffet risks is direct hand contact with food. Passengers routinely touch bread, adjust items, check doneness, or reposition food using fingers, often without realizing the consequences. One brief touch can contaminate an entire tray. From a crew perspective, this is one of the hardest issues to manage. Staff cannot remove a tray every time a single touch occurs. Instead, they watch for repeated contact patterns. That means contamination often happens before intervention. Unlike serving utensils, hands carry far higher bacterial transfer risk, especially after touching railings, elevator buttons, phones, or personal items. Even well-intentioned behavior, like separating pieces or checking texture, creates exposure for dozens of passengers. This mistake is more common during busy periods, when passengers feel rushed or frustrated by limited options. It's also more frequent near closing time, when selection narrows. The safest approach is strict. If you didn't serve it with utensils, don't touch it. If something looks wrong, skip it entirely. Number 9. Assuming luxury cruises risk-free. Luxury cruise lines reduce buffet risk but they do not eliminate it. Smaller ships, lower passenger counts, and assisted service significantly improve safety, yet basic food handling principles still apply. Longer itineraries introduce different risks. Passengers relax routines, linger longer at meals, and socialize more closely. Over time, behavior, not infrastructure, becomes the dominant factor in illness spread. Luxury passengers are also more likely to graze slowly, return repeatedly, or handle food casually due to perceived safety. That relaxed behavior can undermine even well-designed systems. From a crew perspective, luxury ships rely heavily on passenger cooperation. Fewer people means fewer buffers when habits slip. The takeaway isn't distrust, it's realism. No buffet environment is immune to time, handling, or behavior. Luxury reduces exposure probability, not exposure possibility. The same rules apply everywhere. Wash properly, time meals wisely, avoid late service, and respect food boundaries. Comfort does not replace caution. Number 10. Using shared serving utensils. Serving utensils are one of the fastest transmission tools on board. They're touched by hundreds of passengers per hour, often handled incorrectly, dropped, or repositioned without staff noticing immediately. Even on well-run ships, a contaminated serving spoon can expose an entire station before it's replaced. Passengers rarely watch how utensils are used by others. Someone coughs into a hand, adjusts a utensil, then walks away. Another guest picks it up seconds later. From that moment, every plate served becomes part of the transmission chain. Crew routinely replace utensils, but they can't monitor every interaction in real time. During peak periods, especially dinner service, the risk increases sharply. This is why crews sometimes shift to assisted service without announcement. The danger isn't the food itself, it's the shared contact point between food and passenger behavior. The longer a utensil stays in circulation, the higher the risk becomes. Number 11. Skipping proper hand washing before buffet. This is the most common and most dangerous buffet mistake on a cruise ship. Hand sanitizer stations are everywhere, but sanitizer alone does not remove norovirus or similar pathogens effectively. These viruses spread primarily through contact, not food preparation errors. When passengers sanitize quickly instead of washing thoroughly with soap and water, germs remain on the skin, especially under fingernails and around fingertips. Once those hands touch serving utensils, contamination spreads instantly. One unwashed hand can expose dozens of plates within minutes. Crew know this, which is why hand washing enforcement increases quietly during illness spikes. On ships where outbreaks occur, investigators almost always trace the chain back to shared touch points, not kitchen failures. Passengers often assume the risk is low because food looks fresh, but illness spreads before food ever reaches your plate. Proper hand washing is not optional hygiene. It's the first and most effective defense against onboard illness. Number 12. Continuing buffet after mild symptoms. The most damaging mistake is continuing buffet dining after early symptoms appear. Mild nausea, stomach discomfort, or fatigue are often ignored. Passengers push through meals, unintentionally contaminating utensils and surfaces. This accelerates outbreaks and worsens personal recovery. Crew consistently report that outbreaks escalate because passengers delay reporting symptoms. Crew's medical teams encourage early isolation for a reason. Avoiding the buffet protects others and helps you recover faster. Ignoring early signals is not only risky, it's the fastest way illness spreads on board. Cruise buffets aren't dangerous by default, but they demand awareness. Knowing what to look for keeps you healthy and keeps your vacation on track. If you've ever experienced a buffet-related illness at sea, share what you noticed afterward. And if you want more real-world cruise insights from the operational side of the ship, consider subscribing. Until next time, take care and happy cruising.